Georgia and most of the South and most of this country has always been blue. The problem is we don't invest in tactics and that are tried and true. Right now, Movement Voter Project, which supports so much important work and so many organizations like mine, and all of those groups should have $187 million. But instead, you know who got $187 million?
Who?
People who run ads in Georgia. Since the primary
Yeah.
started, $187 million on ads on our side. Every election cycle, ads are the least effective way to motivate voters. We know that. It is the absolute least. So why not invest in ways to engage voters in a way that makes sense, not just for the transactional nature, but for the long term. So, after white men, black men was supposedly the first demographic to get the right to vote. The 15th Amendment supposedly did that. But anybody to believe that the black men were able to vote with the 15th Amendment is delusional, to be nice. Black men became the first demographic to be targeted and guinea pigs for voter suppression, and it's not stopped for 150 years. You see that there's a majority of black men not participating in electoral politics. That makes no sense unless you consider the lessons learned from Maslow hierarchy of needs. Those that tell us folk with their basic needs not met can't think about things that are self-actualization. And because the way we present politics to black men in this very transactional way, we don't see it as a way of correcting what's ailing us. This is why when you ask majority of black men, do you care about who's president? You get the same response: is I don't give a damn because my life didn't change under any of them. But we spent an entire year and a half engaging black men before we even start talking to them about electoral politics, about what's important to them. Actually, before we even start talking, there's a lot of listening that happens. And in those listening sessions, there's no cameras, there are no white people, there are no women. It's just black men. And we have a real conversation. We actually overpopulate the room with black men who don't normally participate in electoral politics. And we spend a lot of time listening to those brothers about what issues are most important. The world would tell us that people vote or don't vote on their own, or by habits or being responsible. When in actuality, every election cycle, we find out that the reason people vote is because they are targeted. We fall in that category of voters that they don't target because they believe we won't vote. And we don't vote because they come see us 2 months before the election with proverbial church fans and chicken. And neither one of those are motivating factors when you can't even have health insurance, when you can't pay your bill, when you're or underemployed. So we use these lessons from Maslow hierarchy needs to ground our program. And then we use behavior psychology, learning how to teach brothers that, there's a different way of thinking about election, not as an end all be all, but as a tool in the box to address some of those things that are plaguing us. People should know that, like a traditional campaign, our party comes around every election cycle to talk to people instead of building relationships. A normal campaign probably talk to a voter 3 or 4 times. We have 11 conversations, and the first 5 of them are not political, and they don't look political at all. It's because it's about finding out what's important to the voter, who's the leader in their community in their eyes, what's needed to be whole, what the community need to be whole. So it's conversations like that before we even get to the political process. It's time consuming because we're addressing 150 years of neglect. 460,000 black men in Georgia had not voted in 5 consecutive federal elections. That means 466,000 black men didn't vote for Barack Obama in the 2008 primary, didn't vote for him in the 2012 primary, they didn't vote for Stacey Abrams, nor did they vote in any other primary in between 2020 and 2008. Proof positive is in Georgia this cycle, in the primary, this year of that demographic, we were able to turn out 144,000 of that 466,000. That's big work.
Yeah,
144,000 people came out to vote that had not voted for the first black president in both elections, 2008 and 12. So this is the way forward. We know this is the way forward. It is time consuming. It is resource rich, but it's the way forward if we are truly committed to keeping Georgia cobalt blue. I'm super excited about this election. I think we are in a good space. I think we just have to keep our foot on the pedal, continue to have conversations. Our organization alone is going to make around 4 million text messages between now and January the 5th. We're going to knock on 1 million doors, and we're going to make 1 million phone calls, and our social media program is going hard. We actually took our advertising budget and turned it into a nightclub budget. So we have a club ambassadorship for folk that are still out in the streets. We work with DJs and club managers to engage people. So we're meeting voters where they are. MVP is a major contributor to the work that we do.